Welcome to Burning Bright, a weekly podcast presenting poetry and prose from Passenger. Many of us celebrate Father's Day the third Sunday in June. In the United States, it's been around since the early 1900s, but it didn't become an official holiday until the 1970s. Traditionally, the most popular Father's Day present was the tie. The most popular meal is whatever Dad grills outside. On this episode of Burning Bright, 3 pieces about dads. Angelo Giambra said he's been writing on and off since his teens. But it wasn't until much later in life, after he read a book by Ted Kooser, that he began to take writing more seriously. He said his dad used to get a kick out of saying Ollie O'Toole, a name he heard somewhere, and thought was, quote, funny as hell. Here's Angelo Giambra's poem, his trill, his warble. My dad hardly spoke at all. It was as if life were a job he clocked into every day in grease-grimed overalls. Each breath a burden, each twist of the wrench another slap at his pride. On the few occasions when he'd say something he thought was funny, like, Ollie O'Toole, repeating it like a priestly chant, it was as if a little miracle had happened. His chuckle flittering like a bird that had just learned how to fly, and having seen the treetops refused to light on land again. Some days I still hear him way up there singing to himself, Ollie O'Toole, Ollie O'Toole. From Passenger, issue 50, Angelo Giambra's poem, his trill, his warble. Angelo said, I've learned that writing poems is like digging for jewels. Some days you dig and nothing happens. But if you dig every day, sooner or later you find one, and then you polish it till it shines. Here are some excerpts from Joyce Burd Hicks' short story, Is That Your Sister? I'm going for a beer. Dad pulls the blanket over Tara after shifting her so her back is lying against the seat. She makes 2 short barks, but the roar of the train covers it. Besides, 2 seats up, a kid is wailing, probably a diaper change. You stay put, you hear? He runs his hand through his long hair, shoves his shirt tighter into his jeans. Mind your sister. When I don't answer, he says, Hey, you hear me? And I nod. He touches the backs of some seats for balance as he walks away. I guess I have drifted off through a stop, because new people are in the aisle. They're slinging stuff in the overhead racks and talking loudly, as if it is the middle of the day. Then the conductor stops by my seat. Wake up, miss, move your stuff, this lady has to sit down. I pull my coat and backpack away from the window to give her that seat, so I will be near my dad across the aisle. Except he's not there. In the dim night light, my watch glows. It's 1:30. Maybe he went to the bathroom, but I can't see him in either direction. In a few minutes he will come back. He doesn't. When I go down to check the bathroom, I see it has an out-of-order sign on it, so maybe he went to another car to find one. Dad's seat is still empty. I sit down. I'll just wait for him, not go to sleep. The train pulls into Erie, Pennsylvania. Just one person gets off. Someone tall with long hair. Could that be Dad? I try to get to the door to yell. The man turns to look at his keys under the platform light. No, it's not Dad. But it could have been. He could have gotten off. No more homework to check, sleepovers to veto, or trips to the library. Leaving us traveling west on the train, it would be like that Janis Joplin song Dad likes. His kind of song about a guy named Bobby McGee on the road with his guitar. Freedom's just another word for nothing left to lose, it goes. With us left rolling west, Dad would be free. Excerpts from Joyce Burd Hicks' short story, Is That Your Sister? From Passenger, issue 54. We'll end this Father's Day episode with Susan Jo Russell's poem from Passenger, issue 71, My Father in the Water. When my mother and I sat across the desk from the young man in the tailored gray suit at the funeral home, when my mother insisted on cremation, a look crossed his face just for a moment. It wasn't usual then. It was questionable. It was radical. But he knew how to go with it, asking smoothly, "And what should be done with the ashes?" which baffled her. She only knew she didn't want a grave to visit, didn't want dirt shoveled over him, because that wasn't him. No, what was gone, and seeing her uncertainty, the young man offered, "Often people like to have them scattered over water." "Yes," she said, "yes, that's fine, over water." And so it was settled, and I pictured the tailored young man leaning out of a helicopter, the ashes drifting down into an azure lake, clouds floating on its surface. But we never knew whether it might have been the skating pond near the high school or the shore at Jones Beach where my father lifted me in the cold surf to ride the waves, or the marsh at the end of our house where the houses stopped, where my boyfriend and I could hide in the reeds and kiss. Or whether they even bothered. I would have asked, but it wasn't her way. She believed what she believed, that dust didn't matter. My Father in the Water, Susan Jo Russell. To subscribe to or learn more about Passenger and its commitment to writers over 50, go to PassengerBooks.com. You can download Burning Bright from Spotify, Apple and Google Podcasts, and various other podcast apps. For Kendra, Mary, Christine, Roseanne, and the rest of the Passenger staff, I'm John Shore.